Saitama slams Goku based off the latest One Punch Man chapter. And because of this one statement regarding Empty Void, where he says, I shall use my dimension slash from hyperspace to clean up the trash on the surface. All these Saitama debaters have been going crazy with it. I've been seeing some people saying like, oh yeah, because he can use a hyperspace, that means he's hyperverse level. And Goku's only multiverse level, therefore Saitama slams. Because One Punch Man is literally the strongest in his verse. And he scales beyond Empty Void. So what happened in the chapter? Well, Empty Void basically, parallel worlds branch out with each possibility infinitely bubbling forth like foam. His ability is outside the causality of the universe, and using special jutsu can fold entire dimensions like bubbles. And it allows him to intervene from the outside. So while he's in this hyperspace, he can attack any character in the dimension they exist in from anywhere. And here's this really controversial statement where it says a hyperspace. And because he's beyond an infinite amount of parallel universes and worlds, therefore Saitama wins. Now, you probably think that I think that he beats Goku, right? Well, if you haven't picked it up already, there's a very obvious debunk to this. And that is that a hyperspace is not the equivalent of hyperverse level. They are different things. And generally speaking, in versus battle, hyperspaces often have limited levels of higher dimensional existences. However, it may not translate to AP or speed. So how does that relate to this latest chapter? Well, because he's using a hyperspace, it doesn't actually upscale his AP or his speed. Let's give you an example of the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. When certain characters in all these sci-fi type shows, when they want to travel at the speed of light, they themselves cannot travel at light speed. So they build this hyperdrive, which allows them to enter a hyperspace, which then allows them to travel at the speed of light. But as soon as they leave this hyperspeed or hyperspace, they go back to their original speed. The same is true for anyone using hyperspaces to attack or move faster. Their attack damage remains the same, it just enables them to attack from pretty much anywhere since they are entering a hyperspace. And a relatively simple way to prove this is how much damage did this character actually inflict? And this is the amount of damage that his dimensional slash inflicted. And you can see, rather than deleting the entire dimension itself, it basically managed to cut a small area as well as the person that he was attacking, which in this case was Sonic. You'll be happy to know that Sonic did survive though. So as we can see, it didn't actually upscale Empty Void's AP. Now it's actually really funny because if you were to make this exact same argument, this would mean that Kaguya Otsutsuki is hyperversal also, because she was stated to use a hyperspace as a means of teleportation, using the Ame no Minaka whenever she used that teleportation jutsu. The exact same character used for hyperspace, or Aku, is basically what they use when explaining a teleportation ability. So this is the panel in question, and when we take a look at the raw Japanese, you'll see that that's the exact same character, Aku, that they use to explain a hyperspace for Kaguya Otsutsuki and many other fictional verses. So if you think this means Empty Void is hyperversal, then you've basically said that the Naruto verse is also hyperversal. So Kaguya slams Goku. And then the next thing I've seen people say is this is outside the causality of the universe. In other words, Empty Void is beyond causality and has causality manipulation. Causality manipulation is literally all of these things. As an example, you can control cause and effect to any effect. So the cause of a finger snap normally just makes sound, but a finger snap from Thanos can also delete a sun, making the impossible effect possible. Now, if you had really good rhetoric, you could debate that this person has causality manipulation and they wouldn't be able to disprove this. Unless if they asked a simple question, which is, give me examples of them using their causality manipulation. When did they use reality warping? When did they use any of these abilities? Just because it says causality doesn't mean that they actually have that ability. You need to prove that they can do these things. Now, arguably, he probably does have mental manipulation or that form of causality manipulation. Why? Because it says here, you cannot refuse the temptation of the holy hand. So basically, he could take over or manipulate people's minds. So you could argue that he does have mental manipulation, therefore causality manipulation. But would that form of causality manipulation be enough to manipulate Goku? Well, if Saitama is a galaxy buster at the best, this still wouldn't put him as high as Goku or on the same level of dimensionality. And if this is literally stated to be a special jutsu or hack, that he's entering a hyperspace, this doesn't scale AP or speed either. It's just a really awesome hack that allows you to attack from anywhere, really. So in the case of Goku, it would be very easy to prove that he would not be affected by any of the attacks that Empty Void has. So does this upscale Saitama to beating Goku? No. Honestly, until we see more from Empty Void, probably not at this point. But I'm interested to see if there's anything that I missed. But most importantly, who do you think wins, Goku or Saitama in this versus match? Do you think that the latest chapter upscales Saitama enough to beat him? Let me know what you think in the comments.